Hey guys, what's up? Unarrested, back again. You saw the video title. What happened to the old Japan vloggers? First of all, sorry about the late video. I had a chili cook-off to go to today. It was very American. That's all I can say. I did not eat chili because it was too early in the morning for me for doing that. I just did face painting while I was there. That was my job. I face painted. Um, Enough about me. The video. What happened to the original Japan vloggers? I want to say J vloggers. If you hear me say J vloggers through this video, that's because we always used to call ourselves J vloggers back in the day, back when we started this crazy thing in 2008, which Japan vloggers pretty much covered anything. It was like person picks up camera and is foreign in films in Japan. It never meant actually Japanese vloggers. They weren't actually Japanese people. It was just people in Japan. And I remember we used to get questions like that all the time, like, why do you call yourself a J vlogger? You're not a Japanese vlogger. And it's like, no, that means we're filming in Japan. Is it okay if we say that? We call it J vlogging because we're filming in Japan? I mean, we are in Japan. Is that okay? Um, Actually, YouTube in general wasn't really adopted by the Japanese people until much later on. I'd say it didn't really start to get very popular in Japan to about, I'd say 2010 or so, to late 2010, 2013, 2000, I really saw it start to pick up 2016. That's when people, you started to get your Hikakin and Hajime no Shachos show up, which are like the equivalent to, PewDiePie and Mr. Beast type people show up on YouTube. Before then, people were so shy. They were so shy in Japan. And then once they realized, wait, money, I'm not so shy anymore. For me, back in the day, we did consider ourselves a crew of J vloggers, of Japan-based vloggers. It was a very small, tight-knit group. I'd say there was probably about 10 to 20 of us that really knew each other. It expanded year after year. I'd say the originals back when I started, and this is like 2008. There was people like Radri, Tikio Sam, Gimme a Break Man, Hiko Simon. I even remember some that you guys probably forgot by now, but like 11 Colors, Betamax, Busan Kevin. He's one of the originals. He's kind of still around doing stuff, so he's still there. Who else? There's still more. Claytonian, man, I bet no one remembers that guy. All people who I still have respect for, cool people, and some who are still going to this day. Give me a break, man. Still going, still making videos just like me. Although we did dip out here and there when life got like too busy. After you have a family, life does get too busy, and that's something I'll talk about here. But we're going into the 5 reasons, okay? I'm getting off topic. Top 5 reasons why the original J vloggers are no longer around. Number 1, people go home. Look at me. I'm here in America right now, and I'm not back in Japan till May. So they go home. It's hard to stay in Japan long term unless you have a really good motivation or a good reason or even the right visa to continue to stay in Japan. You know, with people like Victor and me, we kind of have it that we began as working visa people. We started on a working visa. After we renewed it multiple times, we eventually ended up getting married. Then your visa, they tell you you should just turn it into a spousal visa. So you do that. And then after you stay married for a certain number of years, they eventually tell you, they're like, hey, just turn this into a permanent residency. You got kids now, you're married here, you've been paying your taxes. Just turn it into that. Don't try to keep renewing this spousal visa. Because spousal visa, I think you can only get it for like 1 to 2 years. I think maybe you can go a max of 3 years. But permanent residence visa, you don't have to renew it for 7 years. So they're like, look, you proved you're not a criminal. You proved you're going to pay your taxes. You proved you're going to help the population by having a kid. You proved that you're staying married. This isn't some kind of scam marriage. Here, your reward, permanent residency visa. But that takes a long time to get. I think I was here at least 7 years before I was offered that. And I had to go through the process of getting one visa after another, switching, going to the immigration department every year. And if you don't do that, if you don't keep up with that, Japan does not drag their feet with kicking you out of the country. I mean, if you end up walking around with an outdated Gaijin card or passport or anything, you're gone. No one's going to be like, hey, listen, mate, you better get that updated. No. Like, they will literally take you into immigration that night and you will be shipping out on an airplane sometime that week. Bye bye, go back to your country. You didn't follow our rules. They are very strict about that stuff. You do not mess around. So people go home. Maybe a lot of original J-vloggers were also on student visas too. And usually after you finish college, you get really good at speaking Japanese and maybe you can get a job doing something speaking Japanese. But if you don't, it's time to head back home. You can't get that student visa anymore unless you enroll into something else. Or you could get something else like a martial arts visa or something like that. You can transfer it. And like I said, you might be able to get a pretty good job too because now you probably speak perfect Japanese if you took college to learn Japanese in Japan. A lot of doors open up to you, a lot of opportunities. I mean, you can do things like real estate, all kinds of stuff. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold. Part of being a teacher. So, I mean, there's tons of reasons. Sometimes it's like, a family emergency, got to take care of a loved one. I mean, these are all very understandable reasons. Sometimes the craziest thing, people realize they don't want to stay in Japan anymore, which I can completely understand. Also, when you start to get around an age where like you need to choose a career path, I've noticed like a lot of people when they hit like their 30s or their mid 30s, they want to kind of get locked into a career. And if your career of choice is not teaching English and you don't speak perfect Japanese and you haven't gotten into the tech industry or something like that, not a lot of opportunities to get into any other career paths other than that. Even simple things like you're not going to come here and say like I want to be a construction worker. No. If you're not speaking Japanese, you're not getting into that job. There's not a lot of doorways open to you. Your pathways are very small, and we could get into that in a whole nother video, which I've talked about a million times before. About I always get emails and I always get messages and I always get comments about people like, what if I want to become a doctor in Japan? You're like, do you speak perfect Japanese? Well, then how are you even going to understand medical terms in Japanese? Like, they're not hiring English speaking doctors in Japan. I don't understand. The classics, people who do zero research and ask me, like, definitely this random YouTuber guy is going to get me into the career path I want to be in, living in Japan, because I see my life in Japan in the future. I think, though, more or less the internet in general has kind of wisened up to that. They've watched enough videos, they've read enough websites, they've investigated Japan enough or done enough research to realize, yeah, you don't just step into the same amount of career paths that you have access to in your home country. Next is number 2, why the whole J-vlogger scene kind of disappeared. There was drama. There was so much drama, just like every group clique, that there is on YouTube. We had our own drama. I'm not going to get into it big time now, because I've talked about it many times in past videos, but there was infighting amongst the group. There was people accusing other people of taking their ideas. There was people angry at other people for working with certain sponsors and stuff like that. There were like harassment campaigns put up against people. Distrust was sown amongst different J-vloggers. Unfortunately, even me, I lost some close friends during that. I lost some close J-vlogger friends who we don't even get to speak anymore because there was so much distrust sown amongst the seeds of which originally started the whole J-vlogger scene. And that's sad, man. I will say, if you do end up seeing drama getting started in any kind of community that you are part of on YouTube, just don't get into it. Take a bunch of steps back and don't get into it. It'll get you views. Oh, it will get you views. Yeah, you can jibber jab away about it. But if you want to keep your nose clean, you want to keep your channel clean, you want to keep getting those more organic views that continue long term, just stick to what you're good at as far as choosing, Japan-based topics or whatever based group topics you're about, and keep your nose clean. I did not. I got involved. Look at dumb little me, and I probably added to the whole community getting torn apart. Not good. Past Unrested had not learned that lesson yet. Future Unrested now, looking back at him, waving his finger. No good. Shouldn't have done it. Shouldn't have gotten involved. But I did. But also I was, we were first generation YouTubers. We didn't know any better. Right? That's my excuse, right? I can use that excuse. Number 3, they didn't evolve. A lot of us didn't. Look at me. I'm sitting in a room talking into a microphone and a camera, and that's it. Wow. No editing even anymore. I'm pretty much at square one where I started from when I originally made my first video. It was me sitting in front of an iMac with, I was using the iMac camera and microphone, which was crap quality. Now look how updated I am with my own camera and my own microphone. But I'm still back at square. I didn't evolve. Look at me. I'm in a room chatting with you. It's okay. It's weird. I did do videos where I walked around Japan. My videos where I actually walked around Japan never really did that good. You know why? Because I just didn't present facts and knowledge and lore about the area. I just kind of was like, I'll play music and walk around Japan. Cool. I never got into the super high-tech cameras or drone shots. I never evolved my stuff. And a lot of the other people too. I mean, Give Me a Break Man's still my friend, but he's kind of still where I am, where we just kind of walk around and talk, or we stay in a room and talk. We just chat about our daily life. I think we do it because it's comforting, it's fun, it's enjoyable. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't think any lesser. Same with Tikio Sam. He's still doing that too. He's in a room chatting into a microphone with a computer in front of him. A lot of us are still at square one. We're back. we're still doing the same thing we did however many 15 years ago when we started this whole gig. And now there's people with they've got a whole crew with them and stuff, and more power to them. Their production quality is amazing, their sound quality is amazing, their camera work, the shots they even choose. I don't have that that's not my thing. My thing is, I like to do art. That's fun. And I make a couple videos where I just enjoy talking to you, my very small, quaint, but loyal and adorable audience. Yes, you. Adorable. I love it. I don't know. This is, for me, it's about the nostalgia. It's about just enjoying the really old school way of interacting with my crew here that I've got. And I'm fine with that. That's okay. That's good with me. I don't foresee myself trying to ever step up the YouTube ladder again by going out and getting all this equipment and tons of editing and stuff. I don't have time for stuff like that in my life. I like this. I do what I like when it comes to YouTube. I don't do what I want money for when it comes to YouTube. Number 4, they started families or they got old. When you start a family, it is very difficult to keep a YouTube channel running. I learned that. I really learned that, man. Having 2 kids, trying to run a business, my stress levels were way too high to even think about YouTube at the time. And especially, like I said, YouTube's never been a thing that got me any kind of financial stability, so it wasn't a priority. And when you have kids, financial stability is your priority because you want to take care of your kids. I mean, I think that's pretty common sense. So it just wasn't a priority in my life. Now that things are calm, my kids can take care of themselves. They do things like make their own breakfast, eat cereal, get themselves ready for school. Now that they do stuff like that, they're a little more grown up. I don't have to do every little thing, pick them up from school every, couple of hours, drop them back off the next day, ride a bike with 2 kids on it. Oh my God, I can't believe how busy I used to be. I have a little bit of free time, a little bit of time for myself to do these lovely little videos where I can relax with you guys. But I mean, there's other YouTubers where they're just okay, look, oh my God, who was the couple? They used to draw comics. Oh no, I'm forgetting it now. and that's bad because they were really good. It was a Gaijin girl who married her Japanese husband, and she did this whole video about how when she was sick, he took really good care of her. It was such a cute couple. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm forgetting this right now. What their name was? They've been gone for a while now. I think it's been like almost 7 to 5 years or something since they've been gone off the internet. But once they had kids, they were like, no, we're not doing this anymore. We don't want people to recognize us in the street and try to talk to us with our kid. And I completely respect that. When you do have kids, your life does tend to become more private because you want to protect your kids, and the internet is crazy. Um, so some people take a step away from the internet when they do reach that point of their life. For me, that's kind of why I took almost like a 2 year break. I let my kids grow up a little bit and let my business grow for a little while too, while I got that stabilized. I think I had to get my family life and my financial and my business life stabilized before I could even think about YouTube again. And number five, last but not least, there's just either better or worse vloggers out there. And when I say worse, I mean there's the people like Johnny Somali who kind of ruined it for some people. They don't want to be attached to that anymore. There's people who will not do vlogging in Japan or like daily walks around Japan or filming in Japan because it's kind of been ruined for them. They don't want to get stopped by the police. They don't want to get stopped by, people at a store saying don't film here. They don't want to get looked at angrily or weird by Japanese people because they think, oh, is this going to be another person who's going to do some kind of prank stuff to me because they're a gaijin filming here, which that sucks that it's been ruined in that way. That's awful. That's one of the few things where I think it's like a negative for the future of J-vlogging. Unfortunately, it's been ruined by some of those people, but there are the good ones out there. What's his name? Paolo in Tokyo? Did I get his name right? There is in Japan Go, or is it called like Travel to Japan Go? It used to just be called like Travel to Japan or something in Japan. There is Abroad, Chris Abroad in Japan. There's so many better ones now. There is Tokyo Lens. That's another good one. He does these like big videos where he goes and checks out these tiny apartments and stuff like that. Those people put the effort in to make high quality, I would say like documentary, Netflix style, productions that, of course, those are going to dwarf channels like mine where I'm a dude in a room chatting about things that happened to me in Japan. That's the future. That's the future of all YouTube in general. Like, you have to be on that level of quality, I think, if you really want to become a channel that survives on the income of Japan. I know there are some out there. There is like some past J-vloggers and stuff who are angry about this, who are like, oh, well, that group sucks because they're not showing the real Japan. They're not like us old school J-vloggers who talk about the real Japan. And it's like, well, that's not always true because I've seen some of them do things about jobs that suck in Japan. I've seen Chris Abroad talk about TV that sucks in Japan, about things he doesn't like eating in Japan, about places he doesn't enjoy going, about weird encounters he's had with Japanese people. So I don't always think that that's true. I think they do cover some of the negative. I think in general, they're pretty well balanced. Now, would you say that there's a lot more of those videos that kind of explore the happier, brighter, more positive, fun experiences in Japan? Yeah, of course. Like, no one wants a channel that's just like a downer nonstop. Or you'd end up like, God, who was that one guy? Oh no, I'm forgetting so many J-vloggers' name right now. The guy who would talk about how the sandwiches in Japan don't have enough meat. God, he's funny as heck. I forget what his name was. Dang it. This is what happens when you get old, okay? You forget all the good stuff. But there used to be some J-vloggers who would talk about nothing but the negative stuff, which I kind of always liked that stuff too. It's kind of funny to me. It was like, how could you be here and be this negative? Is life going this? Like, you would be angry in any country you want to. But I think there's a good balance even with the new generation of vloggers. And not only is there a balance, but there's a much higher quality, which of course that's going to get watched over our stuff. You got dude in a room talks about Japan, or dude actually goes out and looks at Japan, shows you stuff, and does a research and tells you actual facts that improve your education as far as Japan is concerned. I think those videos are great because they not only give you general knowledge about Japan, they explore it, they show all different sides of it, countryside aspects, city aspects, the crowded aspects of how crowded Japan can get, the positive aspects such as like trains never run late. Japan is crazy safe all the time. Even the most supposedly dangerous areas of Japan are like not dangerous at all. Or the things, the fact that like, police stop you in the middle of the street and start asking you crazy questions like, is that bike your bike? And you're like, yeah, why? Do you think I'm just going around stealing bikes while filming myself? I know I'm just a dumb gaijin, but I'm not that dumb of a gaijin. So that is the top 5 reasons why the old school J-vloggers no longer really exist. We're kind of a dispersed crowd. Are we still here? Yeah, there's some of us still around. We're still kicking. And we're kind of all doing our own thing. Once in a while, we chat with each other. Once in a while, we reflect on the good times. And there were some really good times. If I were to talk about my own personal best memories of the older J-vlogging days, I would say it was definitely the flower blossom festivals, Hinamatsuri, meeting so many different YouTubers at that time, talking about their interests, getting to know like what their story was, finding out that a lot of people who come to Japan have the same story, where they were just kind of like, I was trying to find education, or I was trying to find work in America, and I just wasn't finding the right thing. So I came to Japan to find my life, and I found so much more. I found so many different avenues to explore. I found so many unique creative aspects to my life that I never knew I could even look into, because I was kind of stifled by the American mindset, or just only what America was showing me. Or I was looking at things only from an American perspective, and then I came to Japan and I saw all these things of the other side of the world about my own country, or what life was like there, or how people saw it, and it really expanded my mind. And now I'm into this and this and this. Not trying to diss America here. I'm just saying it is an amazing experience to get outside of the bubble that you grew up in and see it from a different perspective, and how it changes your life. Like those conversations, those existential conversations with all the YouTubers I would meet were such interesting and like mind expanding and eye opening conversations. Those excitement about what new videos we were going to cover, or the things that we liked the most about Japan that we got so excited about, or the things that pissed us off that never ever changed in Japan. We're like, why does Japan still do it this way? My God. Commiserating about those kind of things. Drinking at those parties, filming videos, the goofy things that would go down, the funny things that were said. All kinds of stuff like that. The one time I went to Tokyo to do that, when we had the big YouTube meetup, and YouTube actually hosted it. That was so fun. That was probably one of the funnest nights of my life. Some of the Osaka Castle flower festivals were just such a good time. So many good memories. What else would I say? Probably just getting to meet even the really big people, who you're just like, wow, I can't believe I'm hanging out with this YouTuber right now. And seeing how their perspective wasn't that different than yours, that they, you weren't starstruck. You weren't like, oh my, you were just like, this is a normal everyday person who is totally cool. That's an awesome experience. It's both humbling and gratifying to meet them and find out they're just a normal everyday person. That means I could probably do it one day too if I really wanted to. I don't know. So many good memories. The collabs that we did, the collabs we used to do online, when we used to do 2.5 Oyajis, when we used to do Sam and I talking about Maji Yabai Yatsura, when we used to do collabs on Osoroshi Saturday talking about scary things that we saw in Japan. God, so many good memories. maybe one day, once in a blue moon, things like that will still happen. We'll hang out and talk and reminisce. But I think that age is over, and it's okay because better things are to come. It's just going to get better and better from here. I only see good things for the future of J-vlogging. It's not called J-vlogging anymore because people can be so much more transient and international and explore Japan even from afar. There's amazing people who go into singular topics or expand beyond singular topics, like Joey, who's Anime Man. Like look at how far he's gone with just talking about manga and anime and the places he gets to visit and the crazy interviews he goes to. And I mean his channel and even his podcast Trash Talk is like amazing. Like it's so, I learned stuff about Japan I never knew from listening to that podcast. So it's just, there's such a variety now. I think it's expanding into ideas that I never even imagined for the future of J-vlogging. So I only see good things for it, and I only wish it the best. I want to see it go further and further from here. I want to see other people's documentaries. I want to see other people explore the dark side of Japan. Find scary stuff like what's her name? Stardust something. God, I watch her stuff all the time on the Do Not Search Japan stuff. Even she finds creepy stuff I never found about Japan, and that's amazing. I love it. It makes me so happy. Check all that stuff out. Continue to evolve with it. It's okay. Every once in a while, come back here and check in. Ask me my opinion on it. Or maybe even I could do a reaction to some of this stuff. It's fun. Recommend whatever. I'm sure there's a ton out there I'm missing. But that's my take on it. On why J-vlogging fell off and how I feel about it now. Only positive vibes, man. It's just going to get better from here. Until next time, send me those recommendations. Oh, and most important, holy cow, I almost forgot. A big shout out to my members. Holy cow. I had 3 the first week I talked about this. It has more than doubled now. We've got Trek Nick. We've got I Am Sandpaper. We've got, I hope I say this one right, Unalki, or is it Unaloki? I don't know which way to pronounce that, but I hope I pronounced it right both ways. Aaron Spooner. Andre Sanchez, who is also not just a member, but the Kohai member, which is a step above the Gakusei member. Sprinkly Donut. And Smile Kita 13. Guys, you rock for being members. It is a massive motivation when people do stuff like that. If you yourself want to become a member, you will receive not only the special emotes, the seals, the stickers, priority comments where I will respond ASAP, but you get an extra video starting tomorrow. That's right, there's an extra member-only video that comes out tomorrow for Sunday. I think in that video I will be talking about my favorite places to visit in Japan. So if you too want to see just one extra video, just one, it's not a lot, or you want a specific video made that's just like talking about something you're super excited about, become a member. Get that extra video. Ask for that extra video. Use your membership to get what you want. That's what we're all about here on Unrested. And until next time, I hope you guys have a good rest of the day. I'll talk to you soon.